does, he's going to critique some of his own work. So if you have any questions, I will ask them. If you show them in the chat, I will see them. And thank you for coming. And Mark, thank you for doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
I think we've all seen your work over this, at least this past month, because we've been looking at your picture on our little thing. You do such nice work, and we all kind of aspire. So
well,
help us out.
I'm aspiring too.
Yes. Who was it that said I'm always a student?
Right. Never stop learning.
Exactly.
So,
Well, I will shoot this over to you then.
Yeah, my name is Mark Farina, and the topic today I'll be talking about is what. Let me something happened. What happened there?
Did you you unshared your screen maybe? There you.
Well, I have a camcorder set up, but I don't think I need it. I have a painting up here. I'll try it again later when I get to that.
Okay.
Anyway, I've been on the peninsula for since 1982, and I won't tell you how old I was when I got here, but I have a background in golf, but I majored in commercial art in school, college, and I sort of flip-flopped between the two professions until about 30 years ago, and I decided I was a little tired of the golf business, and so I pursued my commercial art full-time. But then I think deep down inside, I always wanted to paint, and I love to illustrate. I took as many illustration jobs as I could. And when you illustrate, you have to be pretty versatile. There's different subjects you have to study and learn how to render them, and so that's really good training. And there's a lot of very fine artists that are former illustrators. And actually those are the artists I admire the most, the ones that really put a premium on drawing and fundamentals. So I was pretty traditionalist, sort of conservative in my art and my taste, and it's probably getting more conservative as I go. I really admire the training and the skill of the early California painters, William Wett and Edgar Payne. Those are people I study, and of course there's a few contemporary artists that are admirable too. I look at their work all the time, but so I'm pretty much a fundamentalist, I guess, as far as the artwork goes. You get me past the Impressionists, and I don't understand a lot of it. It just goes in one eye and out the other. So I don't have any and most of
You
my,
didn't like cubism?
well, you know, it was unique and,
Weird.
yeah, I mean, I would say that's borderline, and my taste. Those guys all had very good training. They went to the salons and, they knew how to draw. And their craftsmanship was pretty good. You get up into the 50s and 60s, and not only do I don't understand a lot of it, but the craftsmanship is really not,
Suffered.
you know, Rothko has a collection in the at Harvard University, and they can't take them out of the closet because the colors fade. He didn't use. His daughter said he ran out of paint and went down to Woolworths and bought his paint. So you know, I'm a little more conscientious about my materials and the craft of painting. And
I understand, yeah.
you know, saying you're an artist is a little broad, and I'd rather say I'm sort of a representational painter. Anyway, that's, you know, you get into that, and you have a lot of different subjective taste, but my my starting point is with the fundamentals, and that's what I teach usually, and I let's see. I do teach. I give some Zoom classes, and I only have a couple students, but I usually pretty much concentrate on the fundamentals of the art teachings. So what I've done is I've taken some paintings, a few paintings, and older paintings of mine, and pulled them out of the what I call the dog stack. They're not up to snuff, and some of them, you know, if they have a good a potential, I'll take and rework them, and I did a few of those for this lecture today, and I'll point out what I thought was wrong and what I did to correct it, and I think they're based, most of the stuff I'll do is talk about is these four elements of painting: drawing, composition, values, that's your lights and darks, colors, warm and cool. That if you can get that through your noggin, warm and cool, solves a lot of color problems, and that's the temperature should that's included. The temperature is included with that, and then edges, soft and hard edges, and that's a little more advanced, but it really adds to the atmosphere of the painting or the visual map of the painting. Hard edges usually attract attention. Soft edges are a little more subtle, subdued, and not as demanding of your attention. So this these pillars of drawing are from the book by Richard Schmid. He
Schmidt or Schmid?
Schmid. Let's see.
DT?
I have his book right here. Richard Schmid.
Schmid.
And this is a fairly, it's not a cheap book, but it's probably the most concise book on painting. One of the most concise books on painting that you'll find. It's just really well written, beautifully photographed, and very you can pick it up anywhere and just read, and learn something.
Did you read Payne's book also?
I have that on here. That's the next one I'm going to talk about. He just passed away the past few years ago. I saw him do a demo at the Monterey Conference Center. Artist Magazine had a convention there. He was just a really nice guy, real sweet. Everybody liked him, and it was a sad day when he died. But his paintings live on. Stop sharing. Another excellent book is Edgar Payne's book, Composition of Outdoor Painting. And it's a little harder to read. It's kind of wordy, but
yes, I have that one. It is hard.
But if you look,
his composition was unquestionable, though.
Right. He's one of my favorite painters. Let's see. And he's got all these little thumbnail sketches of compositions, good compositions, and he names them. In this case, these are simplified examples, and then examples of the thumbnails where he gets
the composition down in a landscape.
A little diagram here,
Yeah,
an S, and so it's the pictures in this book are probably better than the text. If you study Edgar Payne, he's phenomenal. He's really a phenomenal painter. So let's see. I'll start off with this painting, which I found in the garage. My wife, oh no, this was in my the bin where I was about ready to throw everything away. And this was a study for a commission for Jimmy Panetta's birthday. I went up on a relish grade and painted this on location. So they have 3 of my paintings of Panettas. That's kind of an honor to have those that family own 3 of my paintings. But I found the reference photo, and I like the reference photo a lot better than my painting. So, and I felt the foreground here was a little too busy. This dark mass here, and this dark mass here and this dark mass here are kind of competing. So your eyes kind of going back and forth between them. And then I didn't particularly like the way I painted the hills, but the big painting I think turned out a lot better. The commission piece. And I'll show you the, let's see. This is the reference photo. Oh no, this is the corrected version of painting. And I just think it works a lot better. It's more dramatic. And
I notice your warms and cools are more separate in this painting.
well, I thought I was just going to paint the foreground, but as things usually go, I ended up painting the entire painting over except for the sky. Yeah, I just changed everything in the mountains here, but the foreground was the impetus of correction. So, and I think this is a much better foreground that just leads you into the painting better, and it just doesn't have anything competing with it. And I think you go back into the painting because of this one
More depth of field, it seems.
this angle here, and then you have this light spot, this plane, and it sort of draws you back up into the painting. So I think it's a big improvement. And so it's out of the doghouse, out of the dog box now. Another painting my wife had stashed away in the garage, and I had forgotten them. She's had about 15 paintings back there, and I was going to throw them out, and she snuck them into the garage. So, and she was cleaning out the area back there and brought them in the house. And it's actually, this painting is what gave me the idea of doing this theme of correcting paintings. And this was up at Yosemite, and this is the Ahwahnee. And then I don't know what falls that is. Is that Bridal Falls?
I don't remember the names of them.
But again, you have two subjects competing with each other. This is really competing with the building down here, and then this big tree sort of cuts the painting right in half. So I've got 2 paintings here, and as I was painting it, I started cutting back the tree more and more. And as I was working this painting, I kept bringing the tree back, and finally I realized that the subject should be, the main center of interest should be the waterfall. So I'll show you what the end results were.
When you're noodling around with your corrections, are you going over those elements, or are you just kind of fiddling with it and that's sort of intuitive?
Well, something something usually bothers me about a painting like this, and I can't. Sometimes I can put my finger on it. It's really obvious, but sometimes it's not so obvious. But I take the most obvious thing, and I just darkened up these shadows in the trees, and then I put this row of pine trees back here to give it another dark value. Everything was, way too light in the other painting. Too many of the same values. So I had reinforced a lot of the darks. I'll put the other one back up. And you can see the difference. You can see the difference. The darks aren't dark enough here. And then these are just all the same value. You can't distinguish between the tree and this blob here. So it doesn't really read very well. So by darkening up the shadows in the tree and putting another value here, I just repainted this. I didn't have a reference photo for this painting. I was just working from my imagination. And that's what I came up with. And I think it's, now it's a pretty decent painting. Just putting these darks in really makes you focus on the background and a little bit of the hotel here, which I think that this is probably the center of interest, but the background is much more important than it was in the first painting. I cut this tree back, way back, and so you get the beautiful tones and atmosphere of the falls and the cliffs there. So I was kind of pleased with that. I'm going to bring this home and hang it in the house. My wife will love it. She loves the mountains. So.
Since she saved it.
And she saved it, yeah.
Yeah. She claimed that one.
I'll give it to her. Let's see. Now, when you're painting outdoors, sometimes it's a little hard to take the time to plan things out. And
I have to say, I painted out on Saturday and the weather changed from a overcast day, and then all of a sudden it was sunny. And I really botched up and I paint in watercolors. And I don't know that there's really any way to correct that once that's down, except to do it again or get out the gouache.
yeah, well, I have a little section on watercolor coming up here shortly, but
What do you think that this drawing and making a plan is really sort of the key of that type of plein air painting when weather changes and depending on how long you're there?
yeah, unless you have a really good memory,
No, I'm old.
but you should take reference photos.
Yeah,
And for composition purposes, the sketch is probably really a valuable thing to do. These probably took, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes each. So you spending 40 minutes doing these sketches. I was trying to figure out if I was going to do a vertical or a horizontal. And I think the vertical works a little better, but they give you time to organize your thoughts, and if the weather does change, you have more impression in your memory of what it was that attracted you to that. So I'm a little lazy.
thank God it's not just me.
Yeah, I don't do these all the time, and sometimes it causes me just to wipe off the painting and start over. I do that quite a bit, but these sketches really, really help, and that's if you have the time outdoors. Even when you're doing a studio painting, a little study is really valuable.
How long do you usually spend doing a scene in plein air?
Well, since the light changes, I'll spend maybe at the most 3 hours, and after that,
It's a different painting.
it's a different painting, and I'll stick it out for another hour, but if you start chasing the light around, you're kind of
Doomed.
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 You're gonna have a conflict of shadows and light, and but I've learned to do a lot more studies, and like I have these moleskin watercolors books, and I'll set this one I did right in the car. I just sat down at the lagoon, and that's a moleskin book there. This is a larger version of the same thing, but the watercolor paper is pretty decent. And,
They really are a nice sketchbook.
yeah, and I've come to enjoy doing these more than getting out the oils and battling the elements outdoors. Well, with all the setup and
Yeah.
this one I just did this one in the car. I went out to let's see. Uh,
The
we went
river.
up to Carmel Valley a couple of weeks ago, and my wife had a meeting, and I sat in the passenger seat and did this little guy.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, it's down there, the baseball diamond and
Oh, yeah,
river there.
yeah.
And I really enjoyed this process of doing these little watercolor sketches in my moleskin book. And I think part of it is I'm just doing it for the pure joy of painting. I never want to sell these. So they're just sort of a joyful little experience. And even if I don't finish them, um, they're still fun to do. That's well, this is another one. Down at the lagoon, I sat in the car and did this. Now these are I do a lot of commissions, and and I usually do some studies before I even attempt to go to the large canvas. So, and these are again in the moleskin
Do you,
sketch.
do you usually do your sketches in watercolor for an oil?
Well, this was the very first ideas I had, and then I'll take one of these and I'll show them to the client, and they'll say, "Well, we like this one better," and then I'll do a larger oil painting for a more refined look. But these are just experiments, ideas, just to get the pump primed,
Gotcha.
Um, let's see.
Painting in a journal is always less intimidating because you don't have to show anybody.
Yeah, that's
Unless you're
true.
doing a demo.
Here's another one that and you kind of see the thought process here. This photograph, this was in New York City. I took this photograph. I was staying in a Airbnb in near Flatbush in Brooklyn, and I just passed these guys, and that it's a real ethnic neighborhood. But boy, you go around the corner and all these beautiful brownstones, and that's where I was staying. But I did this for composition, and this was fairly close to the photo. There's this guy carrying a sack of something, but I decided to leave him out, and I did a painting of just these guys playing checkers. And that was the process there. I have the painting, but I don't have the photograph. So let's see. What's this? Here's another little sketch. This is up from the Presidio. And got a bunch of paintings from up there. It was really a nice place to paint during the pandemic. Nobody bothered you. I didn't paint much outdoors during the pandemic because the people would always come up and.
Oh, nice. Is that the back entrance of that school that's up there
Yes, yeah, you can, there's a frontage road,
and a museum?
yes, and there's parking lots there.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
Really,
was just up there recently.
yeah, it's a nice place to paint. And not many people know about it, so.
Exactly.
But this was done mostly in plein air over a couple sessions. And I probably did 4 or 5 paintings from up there during the pandemic. And
Very nice.
Mount Toro just glows in the evening. It's a little further off to the right, but I moved it.
Artist preference.
Yeah, you can move mountains.
Yeah, because you can't really see all of that from sitting on the benches.
Yeah. So now I do watercolor, and I have a little video here of when things go wrong with watercolor, which as opposed to oil, you can just paint over them.
Right.
Watercolor is a little more tricky to do. So let's see. Let's see. So if you're working on really good paper, what's happening here? Thought I had this on YouTube. Well, we'll come back to that one. This was a study for a watercolor that's out at Earthbound Farms. And I attempted to do a larger version on location, but I was having a lot of trouble with it. So I went back and did this study, and I came up with this painting, which it's a little dark here. Let's see if I can lighten it up. That's a little better. So I was working on this one this morning, trying to finish it. But I had an previous attempt, and I scrubbed it off. And if you're using decent paper, this is Arches. He's either Arches or Fabriano, and it's only 140 pounds. It's not real heavyweight paper, but if you're using good paper, you can wet it and scrub it off, and the paper will remain fine as long as you don't abuse it too much. But it has to be good paper.
Yes. I have a watercolor secret that I learned from one of my teachers, that if you take some blue tape and mask out the area you want to, and then take a natural sponge and dip it in hot water, because it's 100% cotton, it's like a t-shirt, and you can rub back almost to white paper. And if you damage the paper too much, you can use a diluted solution of sizing and get the paper back. I saved a long story, but I saved a painting that way. It was incredible. It was a huge painting, and I fixed it.
Well,
Test it out.
This painting was covered with watercolor, and I just took the hose to it and
Oh, wow.
and just hosed it down and gently scrubbed it with a soft brush, and it worked out fine. I don't know what my see if I can find this video. Well, I can't. It won't.
That's all right. If you have it on YouTube, what is your YouTube channel under? I could post that afterwards, is just
Yeah,
under
I
your,
think if you just go to
put your name in if you go
yeah, if you go to Mark Farina,
in the YouTube.
let's see.
Is it attached to your website?
No, I'm not that organized.
Neither am I. I'll look for it and find the link, and I can post it to our group, and they can go look at it. Do you have other?
I have a couple other videos. Let's see.
When you're actually in the painting process, do you prefer to do it in plein air or back at your studio?
Well, it's
Or do you do plein air and come home and finish it?
it's a combination. I painted an awful lot plein air for a number of years, and I think you learn a lot more outdoors. And painting from life is always the best. You get the best information.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
And the photographs really don't pick up,
they don't pick all the nuances.
yeah, especially the skies and the subtle,
Yeah,
subtle colors. They're just not there.
yeah.
And so painting outside, even sketching outside is good. Or
What, what, what
light,
do you, go ahead.
sketching from light. But if you paint off photographs all the time, you're gonna have paintings that look like photographs, and it's it can be pretty obvious that you're painting off a photograph at a certain point. So paint from life as much as you can. Even still lifes are valuable. Um,
When you were doing illustration work, what type of work did you do mostly?
I did everything.
Oh,
I did. I have. Did bugs.
oh my gosh, that's great.
Um, I had a client that worked for ortho, and I did a poster of 32 bugs.
Is that watercolor or
That's
acrylic?
watercolor, and it was, there was a lot of lifting in this one. I used uh, semi-opaque watercolors, and you could lift it off and you
Uh-huh.
could tell. So
So did they take, you did, that was your original and then they adjusted it for whatever they wanted? When you didn't have to actually work on the actual size they wanted?
no, I'll get the, they did a poster.
Oh, the bug poster. Ah, careful.
Yeah, right. This is the poster for, it was for ortho, and
You did all those bugs?
did all those bugs.
Oh my goodness.
I was the bug man.
His resume, the bug man.
It was kind of a fun project, you know. I went to the library and dug up a bunch of
Reference photos.
reference books, and
Yeah, you definitely don't want to paint those bugs from life.
well, I did a project for the museum, Pacific Road Museum, and Vern Yaden brought a, um, a caterpillar in for me, and we had it in the studio, and I observed it and took photographs, and painted it from
I don't know if they still do this. A neighbor of mine growing up would collect bugs and put pins in them and had them in a like a box.
yeah. Well, I'm
I was like, no, I don't want to put pins in bugs.
Um, here's a little 4-minute video of a composition that I changed. This painting was painted in Cape Ann, Massachusetts for a plein air event. And boy,
Very
that,
Edgar
that
Painish.
has an air, that's area is just full of art history. If you ever get up to Gloucester and um, um, what's the name of that little town? Anyway, I'll play this video. I think I have to unplug my microphone. And I changed this composition a little bit.
Check your, there's.
Is that coming through?
Yes, it's there's no volume, but it does have
Oh, let me turn it up here.
it does have a you know, the words.
Let me get the volume turned up.
Yeah, we don't hear it. But there is text underneath it if you could raise that. Okay, can you speak over it?
Yeah, I'll speak over
Okay.
it.
So the picture that you're holding up, is that the corrected one or the other one? Oh, there, you're talking about it.
This was the original painting that I did during the plein air, and you can see the stern of the boat is over the bow of the one in the front,
Right.
and I kept looking at this painting, and I thought something is wrong with this. It was a good painting, but there's just this one boat was blocking the main part of the boat behind it. So finally, I just decided I didn't have any reference of the front of the boat, and I just kind of faked it. So I changed it around so that the bow of the boat, I pushed it back to the bow of the boat was visible instead of this green boat. And this painting, it was exhibited at the plein air event And then it went to the Hudson Valley Art Association in Lyme, Connecticut,
Nice.
exhibited there. And then this is a video for the Oil Painters of America. It's on my Facebook page.
Okay.
And then it just recently got accepted in the American Impressionist Society.
Congratulations.
So making this little change, I'm certain that made it much more liable to get in these shows because of getting the full
Just
picture of the boat.
confusion. Simplify, simplify. Isn't that what they say?
Well, this was clarify.
Gotcha.
But it's been around a little bit, and it's done more traveling than I have in the past few years.
Well, it can't get COVID.
One more thing, if you have time.
Sure, go ahead.
Let's see. This painting has been up on the walls for 3 years. And this is a little dark. Let's see. Get it a little under. Yeah, that's better. And it was always bugging me that the foreground was too light. This is a sunset scene, and I kept thinking this should be darkened. All this from here down, it should be darkened to get more emphasis on the sunset, which is really the most
Your focal point.
interesting part of the painting. So I think so I over the weekend I pulled it off the wall and decided, all right, I'm going to fix it finally after 3 years. And I made a video, a YouTube video, and this is the final results here. And I'm much happier with it. And I did this with a glaze. And a glaze, as I'll explain it. I explained in the YouTube video. It's done with a medium, and you just put a little bit of
Paint.
pigment in the medium, and it's sort of a transparent wash. And
What color did you use, or was it?
well, in this one I used for the I did the glaze from here. I did all this here. Now
Uh-huh.
the water, I just repainted the water with a regular
Little
consistent.
darker paint.
Yeah, but this one was done with a combination of phthalo blue and alizarin and a little bit of raw umber.
So a purpley gray, maybe?
Yeah, it's sort of a muted gray. And if you have a few minutes extra, I don't know.
We can go another 5-10 minutes, yeah.
Um, now this video is on my YouTube channel. If you can't get on the channel, just get a hold of me and I'll send you the link to it. Oh, what's that? That's not the right video. Well, the video disappeared.
That's okay. Well, Mark, we really appreciate you doing this for our group. And I think that it's probably helped quite a few of us. What, do you have something that you could speak maybe for a moment on about what you were talking about, the cool and the warm colors? When you're painting, do you think about that, or is it something that you do kind of, I mean, you step back and go, oh, that's too many cool colors, or?
Well, the warm and cool is depending on the light you're using or you're painting under. If you're painting under warm light, your lit surfaces will have a warm cast to them. And if you're painting under cool light, the light will have a cool cast, and your shadows will be warmer. So
so in warm light, if it's a high sunny day, your shadows might be warmer, but you don't necessarily put a cool and a warm next to each other. So
well,
it's just,
if the shadow is if the light is warm, like a sunset, you have a warm lit areas. If you're and cool shadows.
okay.
So that's the rule: warm light, cool shadows, warm light. If you look at portraits, painters, they'll they'll usually use cool light, north light. And they'll have warmer shadows and but outdoor painters will generally be painting with warm light, especially in the afternoon and in the morning. There'll be now toward the middle of the day, when the sun's right overhead, the light becomes cooler. And then you'll have warmer shadows. So if you go out tonight and look at if the sun's shining, which it is right here, and you look at the light on, say, pine trees,
Right.
you'll see the light lit part is almost orange, and the shadows in the pines are almost blue, like cobalt blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's an extreme, but it gives you a real exaggerated view of
Of that. Yeah.
what's going on.
Good to know. I will go out there now and look.
Even on a white surface, if you look at it in the morning or in the evening, a white building, the lit part will be orangey and the shadow will be very cool. And that where they meet, it'll be actually accentuated on the corner.
Well, thank you very much for all your knowledge and sharing that with us. We really appreciate that. And this has been a very fun time.
I'm sorry I'm not more adept at the
Okay. We're all in that same boat, I'm afraid. We're all going, what do I push? Which button is it?
but at least I had more than enough to say, I guess. So
You did. I appreciate that. And I will post, I will put it on our little paper that goes out and the YouTube, find that connection to the YouTube.
yeah,
And,
the glazing one is it's an hour long, but it's really interesting, I think, if you want an in-depth
perfect,
look at
perfect.
the process. And so
Well, and congratulations on your award and getting in that show. That was very inspiring.
well, I enter a lot of shows, so I every once in a while I get a good one to
Persistence always speaks. Yeah.
never give up.
Never give up. Squeaky wheel.
All right.